Shiesty went crazy, but the Bengals ain't get the dub. We'll talk about this coming up next on the Wincinnati podcast. Ace and Zim.
It's an exciting time to be a Bengals
Welcome to the Wincinnati podcast. I'm Ace, he is Zim. We are here to recap last night's game. If you haven't, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. This show is brought to you by BETUS. Also, if you guys didn't catch our instant recap yesterday, make sure you check that out. We did the Wincinnati roundtable with the Bengals close, so be sure to check that out. But this is a little bit more condensed, just giving our thoughts and our views on what happened Sunday and giving it on Monday after getting that time to kind of reflect and think about things. Partner, how you feeling? You good?
Yeah, I feel good. Just giving everybody a heads up. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties with my microphone, so bear with me. But yeah, I'm okay. You know, the last 24 hours been kind of tough. I didn't sleep that much last night. Rough game.
I woke up mad as hell this morning, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, I thought, like, for me, and we kind of talked about this, and I'll just talk about this briefly because we're gonna try to do a quicker one than we usually do. But I can't watch football anytime the Bengals lose. Like, my interest on football immediately like crashes. Like, I'm not watching the Steelers and Cowboys. I'm not watching all of that. And for like us, like we watch, or we're on other AFC North shows. So like I'm supposed to watch them, but most of the times, like if I'm mad like that, I'll probably just catch the condensed version of that joint like today, tomorrow, or something like that. Like for me, I don't know how it is for you, but for me, like I don't even be wanting to see NFL football after that.
I feel like when I was thinking about those games in my mind, like I'm not about to like the craziness of our game. I just think that the Browns game and the Steelers game, like, I'm sorry, it's just not as entertaining. Like, and you made a good point too. Like when the Bengals lose, it's tough. It's tough to watch other games. So I did get a chance to go watch some other games today, and get a little bit more input. Like, you know what I'm saying? Kind of give me a little bit of a better perspective, but I don't know. You know, that was a tough loss, bro. It was very tough. It's hard for me to like function and like kind of pay attention to everything else that's going on.
No, that's real. So let's rip the Band-Aid off. A lot of people talking today about the special teams play. So we're going to go in all of the different facets. So we're going to go special teams, defense, offense, coaching. So let's start off with special teams. Bengals did some good things on special teams. Ryan Rehkow, the positive was that he had a punt that ended up leading to a safety. So he was able to kind of corner coffin the Ravens on one drive, ended up helping them get that big safety there. However, the biggest play in the game, what people are talking about, is the botched field goal there at the end. The Bengals are at the 38-yard line, run it 3 times, set this up. The snap is a little off. The hold is bad. Rehkow tries to get it back into spots.
That boy,
obviously,
Uncle Rehkow.
McPherson tries to get it. He can't get it. Goes wide left. Huge play in the game. Like I keep hearing people trying to blame like every different person, whether it's the long snapper, whether it's the holder, whether it's the kicker. To me, at the end of the day, special teams to me has been a mixed bag this season. Honestly, like we've missed extra points, we've missed all kind of stuff. To me, like this was just a situation where I can't really blame them because I felt like it was a weird situation. You ice the kicker. It's a lot of nerves. This is a huge kick. You're talking overtime. You're talking at home. I don't feel like they were put in a position to succeed. However, they are part of this loss. What are your thoughts just from the special teams aspect of this game?
I thought that the special teams, I don't think that they did anything to help out what their cause. Like, you know what I mean? Like they just on one end, part of me says, I know McPherson can kick a 53-yard field goal. But the other part of me says that there's a realistic nature to this is a pressure situation for a rookie punter to be in a hole like this. And I want to make that situation as simple as possible. When we talk about like the game and why they didn't go and throw a couple plays, like when you go look at the alignment on the field, the Ravens are playing as though they're selling out hard to the run on a game where the Bengals have killed them passing. And I felt like Zach just took his foot off the gas. They're like, yeah, did he check out of a run? Did he not? I don't care. That on first down, I don't mind the run. On second down, I'm thinking option route. If the linebacker's right here, we rolling out here to the right with Chase out into the flat. Even a Yoshi is a possibility on like even a slant. If you don't see it, get down, Burrow. Let's keep the, let's burn. What? I don't know how much time is left, but we're gonna keep everything moving. We're gonna make it harder for them on any step. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna pay attention to every single little detail. And the biggest detail that I think that he's missing is the one thing that is the strength of the Ravens. It isn't their pass defense, it's the interior of their defensive line. To think that you were going to run 3 straight times and have success doing that is a hard sell for me. I can't buy that. Like, to me, throughout the day, they didn't do anything to stop that. And at that spot, I'm throwing the ball and I'm coming out of there no less than like 8 yards. Like a little dump pass to Chase. T. Higgins being out on the field sound familiar to mixing in the Super Bowl, like not having your best players out there in a clutch moment like that. But that all goes hand in hand with the special teams. In the special teams, it's easy for us to be like, man, and I do believe this. You only got one job, bro, and that's to hold it. You only got one job, and that's to kick it. You know what I mean? Like, but there is a human factor in there where you want to make it complementary, just like the offense and defense, and you want to help them out and give them the resources to be like, let's kick a 40-something yard one. Like, everything got to be perfect on a 50-yarder out, everything got to be perfect. And so that element of like, I might mess this up. I thought that crap in. I thought the timeout was stupid. Like, in fact, I want to just run it up there quick. Let's get it. And if I knew I was running like that on third now, I might have just kicked it on third. And that way, if I have like a bot snap, we just fall on it and then we go to kick it again. And I thought you took all of that out by getting 3 meaningless plays that got you what, 2 yards? I don't know.
Nah, I agree. I mean, it is what it is. Special teams are an important facet in this game. They always play a factor, but one of the other big factors is the defense, man. They made some plays and some stops in this game. However, in the second half of this football game and in overtime, Lamar Jackson was able to just do whatever he really wanted with this unit at certain points. And that was the part that was weird. Like, to me, it wasn't about that he was able to do whatever that they wanted and move the ball. To me, the issue was how fast it was, like how quick that Lamar Jackson and these guys were able to score. It just seemed like at points it was like, damn, like the fast touchdown that we got on offense was from Jamar Chase, but it was like with them, it was like 1, 2, 3, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. Like, man, like quick. So for me, like you already know, we talked before the game. I didn't expect the defense to be able to stop him, but I didn't expect to be up by like 10 several different times and be worried about like how is the defense gonna get out of this. Like, it just seemed like when Joe threw the interception, which we'll get through later, it was just like, man, I just felt this feeling in my stomach drop because it's like the Bengals haven't been able to stop him. And then the stupid thing on Zach's part, which we'll talk about coaching too, but to let the clock run out and to like take the chance on the overtime and them getting the ball, like I didn't expect them to stop it. Luckily, Jermaine Pratt is able to make a stop there. But for me, like the defense, I was worried about. I did see some things that I did like them putting in meta in early in the game. I saw them mixing it up. So that to me is saying that they're trying different things. We saw Miles Murphy play majority of the game, which I thought was cool too. McKinley Jackson was in there. Obviously, they got rid of Zach Carter, so they gave more snaps to Chris Jenkins. They did some things that I like. I like the game plan. I like how aggressive they were. The
That's what I was going.
execution of it.
That's what I was going to ask you. A lot of people have a problem with Lou Anarumo right now, right? There's a lot of people, and I'm not here to say you're right or wrong.
Mhm.
Did you have a problem with the way that Lou Anarumo schemed up or
I
called
did
the
it.
play?
I was glad because I was worried that, and we kind of talked about that. Like you can't do the Jaden Daniels game plan where you just sit back and let him tear you up. The one thing, pause. The one thing that Brady said earlier that I tend to agree with was that a lot of Lou's stuff he has tails. Like I didn't even notice it, but like anytime he shows like he's gonna go cover zero and send an all out blitz, when he does the fake, the same guys drop back, which I didn't notice that, but apparently like it's easier for offenses to kind of pick up on that. And maybe that's just a product of what defenses are these days in the NFL. Once people have film on you, once they get your tendencies, they just kind of know what you're doing. But no, I don't disagree with the game plan. Like him sending safety blitzes. I heard people complaining about Geno Stone blitzes and all of that. Like there was a couple of times where Geno Stone almost got Lamar. So like for me, like I had no problem with the actual scheme, but the execution of it was lacking. What were your thoughts on the defense?
I thought, all right, coming into the game, I had a couple keys. I said if the Bengals gonna have to get like 3 stops or so. I didn't think that there would be a shootout like to the level that it's at. I'm like, the Bengals got to get like 2-3 stops. You get 2-3 stops, you probably win the game. The Bengals got 3 stops. You also had a safety, and you had the fumble in the overtime too. So you pretty much got them to give you the ball back like 5 times. And I'm not even counting the fact that they got them to kick a field goal at the end and stop them from scoring a touchdown. The the thing that I think, and this might be a front office thing, and I feel like Lou, and it's a two-parted thing. On one end, there's a person that's probably saying, get Lou out because it's a results-driven league. You just gave up 30 plus points multiple times. The other part of me is saying, like, nah, Lou kind of cooked. He just gave Mahomes the worst NFL game in his life, like, what, 3 weeks ago? Yeah, I mean, gave up 120 to Brissett passing. Uh, Jaden Daniels killed him. Bad game, horrible game. Um, you know, there's like pluses and minuses, and I know that like the Chiefs would love for Lou Anarumo to go away. I will tell you that. But I feel like all these teams have these ups and downs and hills and valleys in it. It's just the Bengals are getting it all in one time. If they could correct a bunch of different things, I think they'll be all right. But I keep on saying that every week. And so the results driven portion of me says, yeah, you can't just keep on giving up 30-something plus points. I will say this. I thought that the plan that he had, because coming into the game, it was two different things that kept on getting fed to the narrative. One is that Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson were going to run for 400 yards. He stopped that. Derrick Henry only ran for 40 yards in 4 quarters. The touchdown later in the game, I feel like the game was over when we missed the field goal. I know that's probably a bigger moment for them, but for me, I felt like we were all defeated, and it was just like, I don't know. I just thought it was over. He stopped the running early in the game, but you got to give up something to get something. So you had to go. You got to go. Coverage. If you're going to blitz, he blitzed 41 times, and the Kansas City method of doing it in the playoffs, it worked, right? But the difference is on the back end, you had McDuffie and you got Snead, you got coverage. You got guys out the wazoo that can cover. And I just think the Bengals, like you were saying, they look slow. The Sam Hubbard one, the play that they're going to be running for forever, Sam Hubbard, it's Sam Hubbard. If he gets that play, that's awesome. I'm thinking he should get Lamar to throw it away. But I'm more upset on the back end that he throws that in the three people, throws the football in the three people, and nobody reacts. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that kind of blew me about, like, that's what made me mad about, like, the coverage on the back end throughout. Whether it was early on, CCB matched up one-on-one with Zay Flowers, you know what I'm saying? Whether it was later in the game, like, it was never any point in the game where I thought the coverage was on point. And in order for him to do the scheme that he wanted to do in that game, you got to have coverage if you're going to say, I'm going to blitz at this rate and I'm going to stop the run. You stop the run. But now on the back end, you got to have the horses, and I didn't think he had the horses.
Nah, for sure. I got a couple super chats here. Diddy, no way Joe is playing at an MVP level, 30 plus points a game, and we still 1-4. Zach and Lou need to let they nuts hang and stop being crazy. And then another one here from KP from KC. Tavondre Sweat is looking good too. I'm mad again. But before we get to it, let's also talk about our sponsor, BetUS. Right now, we're launching a new promotion that we have through them. So you're not just going to get 125% on your first deposit. You're going to get 150 plus 125% on your next 3 deposits. So make sure that you guys check that out. The YouTube code for that is YouTube150. Check out BetUS. They got stuff going on right now during the game. If you're out here watching Monday Night Football, you can get those on. If you're a fan of the NBA season is upon us. You can even bet on the preseason. So make sure you check out BetUS. Now, with that being said, let's get to the offensive side of the ball, man. Joey B was on fire in this one. Next gen stats. I just pulled this up. Expected completion percentage is what they kind of look at, right? So they look at what your actual completion percentage was and what your expected completion percentage was, and then they give you a plus or minus. Can you guess, Zim, what Joe Burrow's expected completion percentage was expected to be in this game?
I don't know, like 60%.
64.7%.
And
do you by chance, because I know you're a numbers guy, do you by chance know what his actual completion percentage was?
76.
76.9. He was plus 12.2% on his expected completion percentage. That is the highest quarterback for this week. The second closest was Trevor Lawrence at 10. Joe Burrow was at 12.2. We talk about the aggressiveness percentage, so the aggressive throws that Joe threw, 20.5% of his throws were super aggressive. Like, the numbers are crazy for what Joe was able to do. Time to throw, he only had 2.5 seconds to throw. 5 touchdowns, nearly 400 yards,
oh my
one
God.
interception. Like, Shiesty went crazy, bro. Like,
oh my
Shiesty is
God.
going crazy this year. And, like, not only so just Shiesty. Like, bro, I tweeted out a Trace Amigos 2.0 link during this game because the weapons were going crazy. You got T doing the down the way on their tops. You got another T touchdown, 2 TDs. Then you get Jamar Chase going crazy. Jamar Chase bomb here. Jamar Chase screen, go to the crib there. It looked like the Marlon Humphrey Ravens game, the first one. It looked like the first one. What both of them happening?
You want to know why?
Time.
Do you want to know why it looked like that? When is the last time? When the last time?
31st ranked pass defense?
No, I'm gonna tell you. No, yeah, that too. But do you know the last time that a healthy Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase played together? Do y'all even know when that? Like that's the part they took all that injury stuff. Do y'all know the last time that them three played together? Them three healthy played together in the coin flip game and in the playoff game. 2 games that we won, right? And in that game, Jamar like gets 84 yards in both of those games, like 84 and like 86 or something like that. Like, but you don't have to score a whole bunch of points. Before then, do you know the only other time that they had to see all 3 of them together? Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. Healthy.
When was it?
The game that you just referenced in 2021. These dudes have dodged playing them that many times. And they kept on saying, like, yeah, like if we got Stevens, like when the Joe Burrow wrist game that he was hurt, T. Higgins didn't play in the game. Think about this. Like, you got to really go back and go and look. Like, they never played. And so they played together in this game. Yeah. The 2 of them accounted for 19 catches, 376 yards between just 2 guys and 4 touchdowns. Do you know how nuts that is? For a team telling us that, yeah, Brandon Stevens going to lock up Jamar Chase. Like, it's crazy to me. Like,
real quick.
Like, we failed
real quick. Remember that narrative where Jamar Chase wasn't worth more than Justin Jefferson? You couldn't pay him more. He wasn't a top 5 receiver. Do you want to know, if you had to guess, do you think Jamar Chase statistically right now is a top 5 receiver? Where do you think Jamar is at right now?
Yeah,
like, statistically, we know he's top 5. Statistically, where do you think he's at?
Statistically, he's second in yards and he's first in touchdowns.
Exactly. Exactly. And just a few weeks ago, people were writing this dude off. He's not, and guess who he's in front of? Justin Jefferson. He's got more yards. He done basically hawked them down.
Bro, between there's two different things. On one end, I do not understand the Bengals. Like seeing this would make me about give both of them a blank check. Like just me seeing that game right there.
Jamar and T.
Yeah, because they have enough money to go do what they got to do on the defensive side. I don't care what wide receivers in the draft. I don't care what value, whatever. You got two dudes. They're not even in their prime. And they're going berserk. Hey, think about this. How many like everybody came into this game, they said Ravens is one of the best defensive teams in football. How many more teams do you think have a better defense than the Ravens in the rest of the NFL season for the Bengals?
The Steelers, maybe.
Maybe. And you're telling me that these two dudes just did that to one of the best defenses. Now, purple people will say, "Oh yeah, well our pass defense." Y'all wasn't saying that before the game, and now that they got hit with that, like they're like, "Damn!" And they got bailed out. Like Lamar tried to give us the game, bro. Like he literally tried to give us the game. And the only thing that they're like really like sitting on, because they had all of these different things. Joe Burrow's wrist ain't gonna be right. He ain't gonna throw the sand. We could strap him up one on one. I have all the receipts on all this stuff, and it's so crazy that now we're at this point that because of the negligence and the malpractice of our coach at the end of this game, and like just stupid stuff, you can't even really tell people about it. And the one thing about Jamar Chase is that he's been a wide receiver all this time, that had never ever got schemed open and never been part of a team that ran the ball consistently and gave him a shot. And this is the first year that he finally has had that. Like the Justin Jefferson, we're scheming you open, and look at him. He's stronger, he's faster, and he can run routes with whoever you want. And he's the best wide receiver in football, bro. And it been like that, though. And that's the crazy thing. And bro is like, what, 23? 23 years old?
Bro is like, I don't understand.
He's like 4 years away from his prime, and he's putting up Jerry Rice numbers. He broke a Jerry Rice number, and we can't even like
record, bro. Like
he's still
averaging 20 yards of reception in the league. Remember when people were talking about him doing that in college? He's doing that. He did that in this game, bro. He did that in this game. Like it's insane to see what Jamar Chase is doing. He's actually tied for first in touchdowns, but Uno is like that. You talk about that after having a slow start, like that just speaks to what Jamar Chase can do. Yoshi was able to make some plays here. Run game wasn't what we liked. The only thing I have bad to say about the offense, which that kind of goes into coaching, is they couldn't make the plays at the end of the game when it mattered. You talk about Burrow interception, like that's it is what it is. But
can I say that Burrow? That Burrow throw to Yoshi, that's a top.
Yoshi was a dime. Bro,
that is a top five Burrow. And now, mind y'all, we know we all could think about all the Joe Burrow throws. That throw to Yoshi, top five throw of all. That's one of the best throws I've ever seen watching football. Dog. That joint is crazy.
But it seemed like when you had Joe Burrow, it seemed like that's like every week, bro. It's like every week you say
it does seem like, but that one was different. I've seen him throw like some touch passes, like like the Jamar Chase in between two people on the Falcons game, or like you know what I mean. Like there's that joint. It was like he threw it like Jeff Blake on him. It had so much like loft to it, but it felt like in the only spot. Like if you throw that just 1 yard further back, whatever, that's a pick. I just thought that was crazy. Man, now Joe Burrow.
My bad. Go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say it's a shame. Joe Burrow coming into that game, the misinformation that is given to everybody. Joe Burrow coming into that game. I even saw this on ESPN. They said, yeah, he's now 3-5. No, he's not. He's 4-5. Like, where did they get this information? Joe Burrow was 4-4 against the Baltimore Ravens coming into that game, and it sucks that he lost the game. Now he's now 4-5. I saw this. I was at the bar just now, and they had on the screen that he was 3-5. And so
Bengals right now are top 10 in offense, bro. Top 10 in offense, total yards per game. passing offense, they're top 5, bro. They're 5th in the league, and
Bro,
like
they had
it's
the
just
number
crazy.
2. They had the number 2 offense. Number 2.
You said number
DVA,
2? Oh,
yes,
DVOA.
DVOA, EPA
Yeah,
per play, number
yeah.
2 offense in football right now.
It's
And the
crazy,
Bengals are
bro.
1-4. And the Bengals
And
have
then
just scored
scoring
30
offense, they
some
got a
points.
top 5 scoring offense, bro. They are averaging right now. How many points per game do you think the Bengals are averaging? I'm putting you
28.
on the spot.
28.
28 points per game, bro.
Okay,
28 points
hey,
per
look,
game.
you keep on trying. You keep on trying to give me some trivia. Hey, the numbers. You know, I'm ready to go off on people. Like the numbers, yeah, like they're staggering. It's the best offensive line that Joe Burrow's ever had. When they tried to blitz him, he cooked them. Think about it. We play, and it's not like you can say like we play like the Jags, the Raiders, or somebody like that. We play the Chiefs, the Commanders, and the Ravens as part of the 5 games. So
Bro,
like
they
those are
are they
those are
they are
3 of the
cooking
high.
right
Those
now.
are 3 of the best teams in football currently right now.
They are cooking right now on offense. They're averaging more points per game than they were in 2022 and in 2021. It's just the next thing that we'll talk about before we turn to our sponsors is probably what's holding them back, and that's coaching. But before we get into that, let's holler at our sponsors at Manscaped. All right, guys, it's the best time of the year. Football's back. We're talking Sundays, college football Saturdays, and glorious grind of fantasy football lineups. This is where your inner GM comes alive, setting the perfect fantasy roster, screaming at your TV, and making last-minute waiver moves that either make you a hero or the guy that everyone ridicules in the group chat. But listen, while you're over there making sure your fantasy team is dialed in, don't let your personal grooming become the guy that gets you left on the bench. Let's be honest, nobody wants to fumble their grooming routine, and that's where Manscaped's Performance Package 5.0 Ultra comes in, acting as your all-in-one grooming playbook. From keeping things sharp down there below the Lawnmower 5.0 to taking care of those rogue ear and nose hairs with the Weed Whacker 2.0, this is the lineup that'll keep you looking like a champ on and off the field. Join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by heading to manscaped.com using the code WINCY for 20% off and free shipping. Trust me, it'll make sure that you get your balls straight. So make sure you guys holler at Manscaped for us. Use the WINCY promo code. We need it. We need you guys to help us out. That's our sponsor. So whatever you guys can do to get those orders in, they will be much appreciated. The other thing that we got to talk about is some chicken wings.
Wings and them CTVs. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. It's the Ace to the Zim, M to the B's. Uno wings, G-Funk wings, and them CTVs. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Say what up to Jordan Battle. We be going to battle. Intercepting balls like CTV did on Seattle. Putting 6 up on AZ. Juice gang amazing. Make sure you come get these wings, cause Zimby stay blazing. And T-Game be smooth as ice. Jamal making DBs fold. TV got big levels, and now you already know. Hits are pretty for Uno wings. Cam got the new wings. We call them CTBs. Only at MBs. Ace to the Zim. M to the B's.
Shout out Midwest Best Barbecue, 669 Justice Court in Loveland, Ohio. Make sure that you get your barbecue. Make sure you get your chicken wings, Uno wings, CTB wings. Make sure you stop in and let them know Ace and Zim sent you. Best wings in the city. Everybody can vouch for it. Don't believe it? Go on Twitter, search Midwest Best Barbecue, and see what the people are talking about. See what the food is talking about. Head on over to MidwestBestBarbecue.com. You can book your order today with them. Shout out to Tim and Nicole. Appreciate them holding us down. But let's talk about it, man. It's been a trending topic today. Lots of fire Zach, fire Lou. It's out there. The coaching in this one, for me, it's not really the game plan or the scheme like we kind of talked about earlier with Lou and with Zach. To me, I go back to what I've always been, and I feel like I'm echoing whenever I'm critical of this staff. I say the same thing. is situational football awareness, like knowing what you're supposed to do in the moment, not putting your players in difficult situations, not putting them like your job as the coach is to put your players in the easiest position to make a play. Me and Zim kind of talk about it. Our sons do basketball training. They play on these teams. You got to know your teams or your players' strengths and weaknesses. Like I got a certain player where I know he's not an athlete. He's going to be able to pass the ball. He's going to be able to get rebounds and all of that. So guess what? I'm not going to put him on somebody athletic with the game on the line. These kind of situations that the Bengals kind of get into here, where we look at the non-aggressiveness in a game where they need this win. They didn't play to win. They played to try to extend the game or to try to be conservative. And when I look at that last minute, they allowed a drive that could have been, they allowed a minute and 15 seconds that they could have used themselves to try to be aggressive, try to take a shot, try to get to Jamar Chase, try to trust your MVP that's on your team. They took the ball out of his hands after being shell-shocked from an interception. And to me, that rolled into overtime. Once again, you didn't trust Joe Burrow. You didn't pay Joe Burrow $275 million to hand the football off 3 straight plays. If that's your guy, which you saw him do it on the road to the Super Bowl in 2021, you saw him do it in games where you needed him to come through. What is the point of having Joe Burrow if you're not going to use him? What did my boy Rico say and pay the full? What's the point of having soldiers if you're not going to use them? Like, what are y'all doing? When it comes to these situations, you got to put your soldiers in the right position. And then the other thing is we talk about the field goal kick. Like, come on, guys. There's wind blowing. There's all, and that's when you want to take a 53-yard field goal. That's when you want to take T. Higgins off the field for 3 plays when T. Higgins is the second most dangerous guy on the field, not named Jamar Chase, and you're using Jamar Chase as an inline blocker. It's like the coaching decision-making and not being aware of the moment and not executing the proper way within that time frame, to me, is what ultimately lost the game. Obviously, there's missed kicks. Obviously, there's Joe Burrow interceptions. But to me, the culmination of all of those decisions made by, for me, mostly Zach Taylor in the offense, not really the defense. The offense, to me, is what kind of cost them this game. And what's kind of been the recurring theme for me through these games is they're not trying to win. I'm not going to say they're not trying to win these games. They're not being aggressive. They're not going for it on 4th down. They're giving the ball back to these teams, like, where it's like, all right, are we trying to get these teams the game? Like, I'm not understanding. Like, are we trying to win these games or are we not? Partner, I know I just went off on a tangent. Talk to me about this coaching, man. I think you're a little higher on the coaching. I'm not saying that you are like, oh, this is great coaching, but level me out on like this coaching situation, bro.
I feel like our fan base and everybody that's around us have been on this whole wave of, oh, wait and see, whether it was Burton, whether it was Battle, whatever. They operate as though they've won a Super Bowl. And I feel like the urgency level had never been there. And so then now that they got themselves in a crazy situation and they were 1-3, then they decide, okay, Dax Hill got hurt. Now we're forced to put some of these guys in or Battle. You know what I mean? And to me, the urgency level is not there. Like when Zach gets there, he's like, yeah, don't count us out and stuff like that. Man, shut up. Like, don't nobody want to hear that. Come into there and say, hey, look, from this point on, you need to come on some Tim Tebow stuff. From this point on, we're not going to leave anything in the chance. We're going to maximize every opportunity, every single detail that we have. We're going to go crazy every opportunity that we get a chance. And we're not, if it's a little bit of seconds or 3 seconds left, we're going to call timeout. We're going to talk about every single little detail because the margin of winning and losing is way too small. DJ Reader and Jesse Bates changed up the numbers on a week-to-week basis. The more and more I watch these games, DJ Reader would account for 2 people up front. Jesse Bates on the back end would account for 2 people on the back. So you could make mistakes up front and on the back. They don't have that opportunity to do that anymore. And so when you don't, I need impact players. I need John Metas. I need Battles. I need Mike Hiltons of the world who didn't play in the game. All of these guys are guys that can make plays at opportune time. Sam Hubbard made a big play. That safety that he made was a big play. The Cam Taylor brick play that he makes where Dax Hill tears his ACL, he jumps off of his guy, comes on and makes a play. You have to continuously stack those type of plays up as well as stay with the fundamentals. And what they're trying to do is just like fundamentally, we're not going to make a mistake and we're going to do what we do. But that's not good enough when you're going up against teams that are telling you week to week. Let the comment section be a microcosm of what teams feel about you every single week. They talk trash about you, call you brittle, blonde-haired dude because they're mad that you scored 5 touchdowns on them and threw 400 yards. So the teams don't like you. Bart Scott already told you it was a red dot on you. All these different people get on TV and then give misinformation on the Bengals. They don't come on there and say that Joe Burrow won back-to-back AFC division titles. AFC North division titles. They don't come on there and say any of that stuff. They only talk about what they remember in their perception of the Bengals based off of their childhood. So everybody is letting you know on a week-to-week basis, we're hate watching you, we don't like you, and we're not going to give you a shot to do anything. If we have the opportunity to, we might hit a knee or something. We'll knock a player out in a coin flip game. And that's how they're moving. And Zach and company are not moving like that. Like, see, me, when I get on the internet, I'm operating with my head on a swivel. I don't trust no ops. I ain't trying to make no friends with nobody on there. And the Bengals team gotta operate the same way. We not dapping up. Y'all seen when bro knocked Lamar on the ground or something? Trey Hendrickson went to go lift him up. What Lamar do? He ain't give him his hand to be like, yeah, come on, let us up. Like, we're gonna beat it. What are you extending your hand out for these dudes for? They already told you what they think. They said F Joe Burrow when you hurt your wrist. They don't like you. Stop acting like these people like you. The reason why I'm a polarizing figure on here is because I always stay the numbers that you've been talking about the whole time. I stay very absolute with the numbers. A win is a win, a loss is a loss. As a community, we talk about these different things. But every single time that I bring out this information, these are the points that nobody wants to hear because they don't have to hear them on national TV. And that's why they don't like what we're saying. They don't like that they can't walk around here now because they're arrogant and say, oh, yeah, we strapped up Jamar Chase. Now they got to go pick a different battle. You know what I'm saying? Derrick Henry was supposed to run for 400 yards. They don't like you. They're not going to shake your hand. Lamar shows you that when we beat them 41-17. He didn't even meet Joe Burrow at the field and shake his hand. Yesterday on Sunday or whatever, Trey Hendrickson knocks him on the ground. He goes to lift his hand up. Lamar like, no, I'm not taking your hand. And that's the way that Roquan and all them dudes is moving. If Burfict was out there, we're not shaking nobody's hand. After the game, we're not exchanging no jerseys. We're not doing none of that. Why? I don't like you. You don't like me. Like, what's the problem? So at the end of the day, they move like they have like a window that everybody's just gonna let them through. There is a window. There's a window that they went through that everybody that wished that they could go through. The people that are in the comment section are just a microcosm of that. They're telling you about what his record is versus Joe Burrow, but in the same breath, they're telling you that the Bengals are poverty. Well, how come Joe Burrow has more playoff wins than your whole team in a whole decade? And you're living off of success over a decade ago. That's the truth. But they don't want to hear that part. Just like they don't want to hear anything about what the Bengals have done or anything or shake our hand on any different point. But the Bengals still operate as like this friendly team. When you go to games and stuff like that, I pride myself in us being classy as an organization and everybody being cool. You go to some of these other cities or whatever, it's not that cool. And you got to respect it. When Cincy, whatever, when they adopt and they finally get into this mode to understand that Bart Scotts of the world, Shady McCoys, and all these people that speak in their favorite players, Lamar Jackson every single week or whatever, all these people that just love him to death, when they finally get into the world of stop caring about all those people and start getting into the world of we need to make something happen right now because nobody cares about what we did in 2022. Nobody cares that Joe Burrow and them had the hardest schedule in football in 2023, and they still managed to get 9-8 and the hardest schedule in the last 24 years of football. But nobody's coming back and saying any of that stuff, and that's cool. They got to understand how cool it is to have urgency and to not take their foot off anybody's neck. That game yesterday, you had 3 different 10-point leads. Lamar literally fumbled the game away and almost gave it to you. And then you come back And you're just like, yeah, I'm going to just fumble. I'm going to just run 3 times, and I'm going to let him off the hook. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't move like that no more, because that is assuming that everything's gonna go perfect on a kick. I'm assuming when I walk outside with my family and I walk outside or whatever, it's a reason why people are registered gun users and all these different things like that, because they're assuming that someone might hurt them. And that's the way that the Bengals should be moving every single day. You have to assume that the people that are your opposition, they don't have your best interest. And as a result, you have to urgently move towards your goals and bust through the window. You have to break the window, because right now the window, they're trying to shut it. And all of these people around the league and stuff, they're going to help them do it. They watched Joe Burrow get hurt in front of millions of people in the Super Bowl. Nobody even talks about that. That was the same injury that Lamar Jackson was out 8 weeks for. Joe Burrow played through the game, but nobody comes back and says, you know what, he was tough in the Super Bowl. No, they've already written the narrative. Joe Burrow came out there and defied everything that they said. After he threw, after he hurt his wrist or whatever, they said he was never going to throw again. Now look at him, throwing for 400 yards, number 1 quarterback rating, number 2 QBR, most of the touchdowns in the NFL, whatever. And all the people that said that he was injury prone and he wasn't going to hurt, he wasn't going to play again. Now they look stupid, and now they're just leaning on other stuff.
Man, once again, shout out to BETUS for sponsoring the show. We always do our Wednesday play of the week. We do our thing there. Make sure that you guys check that out. You can go and make any kind of bet that you want to right now. They're even starting off some of the Bengals lines. If you're just into football itself, make sure you check them out. Go ahead and make some bets. We'll have our Wednesday play of the week later on in the week, but definitely make sure that you guys tap in with BETUS. That is going to wrap things up for the Wincinnati podcast. Once again, shout out to BETUS for sponsoring the show. Make sure that you guys follow us at the Wincinnati Pod on Twitter, at ZimHude, at New Stripe City. Make sure that you guys tap in with us. And once again, thank you guys for tuning in.